It is the spring of 1989. China, under the rule of the Communist Party, is in the midst of profound change. The economy is slowly opening up, and the echoes of reform are felt in the streets, from the skyscrapers of Shanghai to the bustling markets of Beijing. But the changes that have begun are met with resistance from a generation tired of corruption, censorship, and lack of political freedom. In Tiananmen Square, a symbol of both China's ancient history and its revolutionary future, a group of students begin to gather. They come not to riot, but to ask for change, freedom from an oppressive regime. What begins as a peaceful protest would, in a matter of weeks, spiral into one of the most tragic moments in modern history. At first, the protests are small, student leaders taking to the streets to voice their frustration. They call for an end to government corruption, for more political freedom, for an end to the one-party system that has ruled China since 1949. Their voices are peaceful, their message clear. Change is needed for China to thrive. For a brief moment, there is optimism. The protests, while growing in size, remain peaceful. The students are hopeful, their eyes set on reform. But what began as a demand for change would soon become a call for something much greater, a demand for the very soul of China itself, democracy. The Chinese government, led by then-President Deng Xiaoping, views the protests as a threat to their power. They respond with an iron fist. What was once a peaceful gathering of students in Tiananmen Square would soon become a battleground for the future of China. As the days pass, the military begins to mobilize. Tanks roll into the city, and soldiers are given orders to clear the square. The government begins to view the protests not as a cry for help, but as a challenge to their authority. What had been a peaceful demand for reform is now seen as a dangerous revolt. June 3rd, 1989. The government issues a martial law declaration. The protests are no longer tolerated. The military, now given orders to end the demonstrations, begins to move in. The peaceful protests have devolved into violent clashes between students and soldiers. The world watches as Beijing descends into chaos. As the night falls, the brutality of the crackdown intensifies. Tanks roll into the square, and gunfire erupts in the streets. The government has made its decision. No matter the cost, the protests will be crushed. The blood of those who fought for change will soon stain the very ground they stood on. This moment, frozen in time, will become an enduring symbol of defiance. A lone man standing in front of a column of tanks, refusing to move. His courage is not enough to stop the military, but his image will endure, a powerful symbol of resistance, bravery, and the enduring spirit of those who dare to challenge power. The massacre is over, but the damage is irreversible. The official Chinese government toll claims that hundreds have died, but independent estimates suggest thousands were killed in those final days of June 1989. Bodies lay in the streets. The square, once a symbol of peaceful protest, is now a site of tragedy. The world will never forget Tiananmen. It was a moment that shook the conscience of humanity, a reminder of the lengths to which governments will go to preserve power, even at the cost of their own people's lives.